That's a sound I have not heard for a very long time and missed it every single day. Welcome back to the Aussie Backyard Banter, episode 7. It feels good to be home, and joining me in the Dundale Studio is the man, the myth, the legend, the new member of the Green Bay Packers and wearing their merch, which apparently is going to claim back on tax, Thomas the Man Lamond.
Mitchell, welcome back to Australia, mate. It is great to have you. You do look a bit different, but it's good to have you back.
I feel different, feel better, feel refreshed.
You do. You look refreshed. You look like you're a new man. So,
mate,
yeah.
just ready to take on another massive year of winter sports.
How
just
good.
around the corner.
Looking at the agenda, we have 5 whiteboards full tonight of stuff to do. So this could be quite a long episode. Lucky we have such a good cast with us tonight.
Yes, and sitting next to you is one of my favourite cousins of all time. Emma, welcome back to the studio. It's a pleasure to have you back for the start of the Super Netball season coming up.
I've gone from being like your favourite cousin to one of your favourites, so I think you need to pick and choose, mate.
Pick and stick.
That's it. Nah, good to be back, and I'm glad you made it back to Australia.
Yeah, it was touch and go. They apparently Customs had heard of the Aussie Backyard Banter and there was concerns, but we made it through. And Sam, mate, how's the period been from the last time you were on the episode to now?
Right, I've been hiding in the corner waiting to come back out of the darkness to be a part of the pod. I'm actually surprised to see Tommy with the Green Bay Packers merch on, but he's rocking Wagga Waratahs kit and Collingwood headphones.
Yes. Look, I like controversy. I don't like having friends, and yes, I'm actually also wearing Manly Ringer underwear, so that's it's
Hot pink.
All all the hated clubs I'm known for supporting.
Well, I'm a Manly supporter. Yeah.
And joining us in the studio, it feels like you're in here because you're on such a big TV looking down on us, James. But James Beale, pleasure to have you back in the studio. And you're sounding crisp, you're sounding clear, you've had a good break.
I've had a good break. I'm happy to be back. Glad you made it back, Mitchell. And I'm just looking forward to this episode. Onward and upward. Well,
as Tommy said, there's a lot to go through.
But first of all, Beals, are you in a new secret location?
I am. I've moved to another secret bunker. That's right.
I can't wait to see where this goes.
I love it. We may as well kick off, Beals, with your spiel. And obviously, daylight savings, you mentioned to us before the show, you're not a big fan of, or are you a big fan of, but you said, I want to talk about daylight savings. Beals, what have you been stewing on while we've been away? What is your spiel that you've got for us?
I'm so glad you mentioned daylight savings, Mitchell, because I really have put a lot of thought into it. Like, absolutely. Just glad you went there. I actually don't mind it. You know that?
No,
I actually think it's pretty good.
That's not what the whiteboard says,
like
Beals. I tell you now.
I heard that Tommy doesn't mind that you don't like daylight savings. Is that right?
Yeah, it's just, I don't like that it goes on for so long. I wish that now footy season has started, it should be dark wise footy training time, but there's still another, 3 weeks left of it. And yeah, I'm just not a fan at all.
But this is Beals' spiel. So Beals, just take it away, mate. What do you think it should stay forever?
You know, I reckon they should just do it all year round. Queensland's got to get on board. Just make it happen. See, I'm not worried about rugby, so that doesn't affect me at all.
You've just got more time to worry about daylight savings.
I love the fact that the sun's up later and it's still dark in the morning every day I get up. It's fantastic. I love it. I don't know if I can add much more to the subject of daylight saving. I'm happy for you to weigh in any time.
I can feel the passion coming through the microphone from your secret location, but Sam, you'd have to have an opinion on this, surely. Surely. You're sitting there chewing on these bullets like you...
Mate, Queensland's behind the time. My brother lives up there, and I can't...
Quite literally.
Can't talk to him. Devo.
Just physically can't. I suppose we better move on to some sport, get some order back in here, because Tommy has been messaging me about the Cricket World Cup. I didn't even know there was a Cricket World Cup. Apparently, and all I can say allegedly, the only way the Australians were going to get to the final is if they brought tickets. But Tommy, chomping at the bit, what do you think actually happened?
Well, to be honest, I had no idea that Australia actually went to the World Cup.
But what World Cup?
Yeah, exactly right. It's rugby season now. Like, we don't even talk about cricket.
Also, it
we
was
don't
cricket,
talk about
yeah.
the fact that the Australian selectors picked a very, very average team and flew Steve Smith over there but didn't play him in any games. No, we won't talk about it at all. It hasn't been on the tip of my tongue in a passionate, angry way for the last 6 weeks. At all. Have not even thought about how annoying it is and how the selectors should be dropped for picking a very, very, very rubbish team.
The thing that came across my desk, and a lot had come across my desk, lucky Emma was collecting the mail, she can test to how much actually does get through my desk, is the fact that it's every 2 years. Do you think that takes the shine off a World Cup? Because most World Cups are, 4 years?
Yeah, 4 years is a good time. Gives enough time for teams to rebuild and get a whole plan and a whole new campaign to get started. You build for 4 years to reach that end goal. But to be honest, is T20 even a real sport? It's just a bit of hit and giggle, isn't it?
I'm a test match supporter.
Yeah, exactly right.
Talking about terrible test match selections, I'd probably pick the team.
I was about to say, were you actually at the Cricket World Cup as a selector?
Yeah, I just hit it as a honeymoon trip to Europe, but realistically, most World Cups, like your one day international, the Test Championships, we kind of hear about maybe confirmation bias on my end, but T20, I still can't buy into it. I like the Big Bash. For me, the World Cup isn't as important, and I don't know. I think it's lost its being every 2 years.
And I think, look at the crowd numbers. I'm pretty sure Australia were playing in front of 50 people some games. There was just no crowd support or anything at all for it. So, yeah, to be honest, I think it's a waste of time being every 2 years. It's probably the lowest form of cricket too. Test cricket's the best, purest form. And then you got one days. With the one day World Cup,
I reckon your point about the 2 year thing is valid though. That is ridiculous. That is absolutely ridiculous. You got T20 and you got test options on it as well. One days. There's so much cricket market absolutely saturated, and then to double down on saturation with 2 year cycles, crazy.
Yeah.
Absolutely crazy.
So the netball are looking into doing a World Cup every 2 years for money purposes. So what's the purpose of, I suppose, the T20? Is there a reason why it's every 2 years?
I think it's the fact that they're saying, it's a quicker tournament. They can get more teams in, and the tournament's over and done with a lot quicker.
Just do it every year then.
yeah.
Right?
but
Make an
then
annual
it just becomes a tournament.
That's what it is now.
But the biggest thing on there, they're talking about it is to make money, but they're not making money when there's 100 people going to watch a game.
Yeah.
Surely it's costing them money. Where if it was once every 4 years, they'd be like, oh, wow, let's actually go watch it because it's more of a special event.
Yeah.
Imagine the Rugby World Cup was once every 2 years. You'd lose interest so quickly.
The thing is, too, every 2 years, you haven't got those people who've had to go through a 4 year cycle. Every 2 years, you could go to 12 years. You only go to 6 World Cups. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas that's unheard of in the other sports.
Yeah.
Or if you have been able to do it at those numbers, and surely there's someone out there keyboard checking in on that. But every 2 years, you don't see the change in players or the young guy coming through or girl coming through, and then during the old head hanging around and showing everyone how it's done.
Yeah. Exactly. And that's one thing. I keep going back to rugby, but there's only a handful of players who probably played in 3 World Cups. And now the young 18-year-old, the first one.
Yeah.
And then they're 30 and towards the end of their
Build
career
a
by the
legacy.
third one. It's where if they played, say, 6 or 7 World Cups over that 12 years, you're going, well,
Yeah.
what is it? Yeah.
Yeah.
And I look at the other way too. It makes it very hard to get people up to a level when you're playing so quickly. And probably going back to your rugby where I understand it a lot more, but I'm sure every sport is the same at the elite level. You want to blood the young players in year 1 and 2, and by the time they're year 3 and year 4, they're starting to peak. You've got a group of players that you've been mucking around with in those first 2, maybe 2.5 years to get right for that year 4. When you're doing it every 2 years, the young fellas probably barely get a crack because you need to be reliable in there straight away.
Yeah.
You
But
miss
they're
and
out
then
the back door too after that.
done.
Yeah.
I think it's boom and bust a bit for them. You either come in and perform really well or you never are seen on the big stage again. For me, I reckon every 4 years is the right time for a World Cup.
And I guess, say you look at athletics and that, I guess their World Cup would be the Olympics, right? That's their end goal. That's what they want to win. They got world championships.
Yeah.
There every year, but the Olympics would be their
The
overall
Olympics is the peak of
goal, and that's once every 4 years.
Summer Olympics,
yeah,
Winter Olympics.
yeah.
And we'll get Chris on to talk about he's our Summer Olympics specialist and athletics champion. I think about the Olympics, which changes it too, is that it's not an actual financial gain for those guys. It's exposure for them and their brands, but they don't make money out of it. And it's still massively supported by crowds, massively supported by athletes. And I think the T20 losing the side of the players are probably just turning up to make a check, really.
Most famous swimmer in the world, Eric the Eel.
Yes, I do. Rumour has it he's still swimming.
Beals, what's your thoughts on a good World Cup gap?
I think 4 years is a reasonable time. I mean, that's your Olympics, you got your Soccer World Cup. They're all got 4 years for a reason. It builds up the hype, lets people get, when they finally get the chance to do it, it's special. It's an event that you want to go and see. It doesn't happen all the time. Australia being out so fast of this T20 World Cup probably didn't help it, because there's no Australians would have been there to watch it. No Australians would have been interested. But I think 4 years is reasonable. Just if you overdo some things, it's people lose interest.
Beals, is there a crossover here for like Marvel franchises and Star Wars and that sort of stuff? Like, how often should they be releasing trilogies, and what should the movie cycle look like?
Well, at the moment, probably as little as possible, because they release so many movies. Then they go and throw TV shows and everything. It's too much.
Don't bust your boiler just yet, Beals, because I'm sure the question on the whiteboard is how many movies have you watched in the last 6 weeks? But while I was away, something else happened, and the Super Rugby season kicked off. It was weird watching it in a different time zone, but I was lucky enough to be a part of the Six Nations. That's a bit of a, like we talk about every 4 years being special. They do that Six Nations every year, and it seems to be getting bigger and bigger over in that European competition. I watched England play once against Scotland in Edinburgh. We went to a little pub in Edinburgh and watched them, and then went to a pub in Galway and watched Ireland beat England. And the atmosphere in those pubs was electric. Like, there was not a single spot you could be in that pub that wasn't standing. Every table, everywhere was booked, like shoulder to shoulder, the whole venue. And it was just cool to see that support. Like, even that's just at one of the local pubs. There would have been heaps. Everywhere's advertising.
Does everyone over there love watching England lose as much as we do? Like, they just celebrate them losing? No matter
the funny part about it was it wasn't all Irish or Scottish supporters. There were English supporters at both pubs. And they're very confident, the English supporters. Like everyone
I think
loves
there's
to
a
hate
different
them.
word for them, but we'll go with confident.
Isn't there a yarn from one of the British and Irish Lions coaches about that, though? In the mix of the the 4 nations that make up the British and Irish Lions, that the Irish provide a certain mentality, and the Welsh may not be the fittest, but they've got the biggest heart, and the Scottish are in a similar sort of bandwidth, but they need the English players to provide an edge, because the English have this confidence, and then the other nations have such a dislike for them that they want to be better than them, and the English are so confident that they're better that it just drives this achievement.
The rugby over there is so much loved. Like, their stadiums are packed every
There's
week.
2 winter sports, though.
Yeah.
Like rugby or soccer.
Not necessarily, because Ireland's
What are the
obviously
other
got
ones? Come on,
Ireland's
let's
have
go
got Gaelic, and they've got the other
Hurling.
one. Hurling, and they're massive. Like, we watched some of the local hurling competitions, and they would have easy 40 or 50,000 people at those games.
What is hurling for those
No
playing
idea.
at home?
No idea.
Is that the one they're flying broomsticks and Harry Potter plays it?
Yeah,
No,
I
that's
think so.
Quidditch. Sorry, Quidditch, my bad.
Don't.
Sorry.
Bealey's getting fired up over there. And then you've obviously got soccer on top of that too. It's just a different level of fanatic. I would say that, like, obviously Gaelic football is very similar to AFL for us in Ireland. I think they play.
Yeah,
they
but
play each other.
Gaelic's non-contact, yeah.
It's like a soccer cross AFL mix.
Well, it sounds a bit like the Super Rugby going to the Brumbies game last week and having 6,500 people. Chockers.
So tell
And
us.
a
So,
90-minute delay.
Oh,
Yeah.
it was annoying.
so start of rugby season. Brumbies obviously kicked off quite well, mate.
Yeah, mate, all Aussie teams have gone quite well, bar the Western Force, but they're struggling, but they'll get there. They've got quite a good team on
They've got
paper, but quite
boy
young.
from tomorrow rocking and rolling over there.
Yeah, young Zack Lomax going over there. Oh, yeah, that's a huge signing.
What are your thoughts, Sam, of bringing a Riverina local back into rugby?
Well, I mean, it's been done a million times, hasn't it? The young fella who's been a junior coming up through the ranks, and then goes off to play NRL and has been a very successful NRL player, come back just in time for the World Cup. He's giving himself a bit of time to settle himself and, I guess, refamiliarise himself with the craft, and then let's see where he goes. Yeah.
And he is quite a skillful player.
He did a lot of junior rugby.
Yeah, he's a very good and very smart footballer. But then it's one of those ones, Is he an outside back? The Wallabies have enough outside backs. Where's he fit in? Like it's great to have these problems going, right, who do we pick? Rather than going, oh, you'll do kind of thing.
There's some really solid homegrown talent or Super Rugby grown talent, whatever we want to call that now, that deserve to have a crack at that level and who've been having a go within their local franchise for years or moving within the Australian franchises. But yeah, anyway, it's a great problem to have.
What's the cost of the World Cup for Australia? Like, is it worth chasing all these NRL players on deals that they probably may end up back in the NRL, or keep homegrown players and support rugby from within?
I think with the Zack Lomax deal, that's going to be more, he had no other choice. Like, he can't play league, so he's like, well, I'll go to rugby because...
But rugby still had to employ him. Like, he's on the Rugby Australia deal, I'm sure,
but
somewhere.
There's been no figures mentioned of what he's got, and I reckon whatever they would have got him for would be a steal for 2 years before he goes back to league, maybe, who knows. But in saying that, a lot of the NRL guys who are coming across are private school rugby backgrounds. Like, yes, the league clubs probably put them through private school to then go back to league clubs, but they're still rugby background at least, and they're only 22, 23.
Most of the players that we saw over in New Zealand at the Global Youth Sevens had some level of NRL involvement. They were playing for Australia and New Zealand, but they had some level of NRL involvement.
And I think it's a great thing because there's so many NRL clubs and they're teaching the basic skills. You learn to read the game, pass, catch, all the basics, and they just can't get that pathway in rugby because there's no pathway for it. So to get them back at then 22, 23 when they're more developed, it's a win for rugby.
Yeah, totally.
Like, without putting the groundwork and the money into it. So
it's an interesting discussion around like pathways and that sort of stuff there about, is rugby union the pathway? Is rugby union losing young athletes to league, or is it just part of the development process for them?
Is it going to become a thing where NRL is Australia's domestic sport and then rugby union is our international version?
It's like that now, right? I mean, what's the
yeah.
international version of rugby league? It's Great Britain, the French have a team.
And Pacifica is the rest, yeah.
But the Pacifica stuff, like New Zealand obviously is there, but what's the deal? The Pacifica deal with the government's put the money out there for a NRL franchise in the Pacific nations.
Oh, yeah.
That will be amazing to see what happens.
Yeah.
But I don't know, like NRL in Australia is such a dominant version of the rugby-based code. But like you're saying, Mitch, internationally, the rugby union.
Well, you just got to look at the British Irish Lions tour that they did and the sellout every game, the hype around that whole atmosphere, and it's so different. But you do a Super Rugby game and it's not there. It's just, it falls off a cliff dramatically. You either get massive stadiums and packing out the MCG probably twice over and all the other stadiums around Australia. You'd put two Super Rugby teams in that same stadium and you'd get... Like you said, Tommy, and it pains me to say because I love the rugby.
But it's one of those ones too. If the Australian clubs win a few super championships, the crowds will come back.
Do you think so, though?
I
Do you think it's too
they'll
late?
slowly come back, especially after the World Cup year.
Yeah, okay. I hope so, and I know there's a lot of money
I'm going to
invested.
cross my fingers and cross my toes for it, but I just can't see it happening. I just can't see it happening that rugby becomes the sport that it was in the mid to late 90s, early 2000s. I just think Rugby Australia have had so many chances they've gone for sugar hit after sugar hit after sugar hit, and rather than building on long-term development. And that's one thing rugby league does really well is invest grassroots, invests in those jersey flag type levels of the game that sees athletes moving through pathways. And it's AFL is exceptional at it. And there's a reason that AFL is so strong in Australia, and it's the model of how the AFL delivers the sport is what makes it so successful.
Is there just not enough professional rugby clubs in Australia? Because there's 4 clubs Australia-wide who played at elite level. Yeah. League there's 18, AFL there's 18. Like, it's just, there's a lot more choice to
saturated
play at a high level. Yeah.
I think the way the financial the financial position that rugby is in currently, I think will stop it ultimately. Super is really financially struggling. Like, no, I don't think adding more teams would probably make it worse.
Yeah, I agree. The best thing they could have done was take the Rebels out.
Yep.
Like, not the Rebels itself, but a club away from Australia is the best thing for it.
Yeah, and I think keeping the Western Force out there gives it another draw point. Like,
it's huge over there. It's massive.
Rugby league hasn't set up there. AFL's big, but there's still a market for their second sport, so to speak.
By netball, obviously.
Yeah, behind netball. I reckon we try and call Gus. We'll see. Beals, just stick with us. So, welcome, mate. Great to have you on the podcast finally, Gus. How have you been? Have you missed us?
I've been there from our little rehearsal run back at the start. It's been a while, Mitch. Good to be back on the pod.
It is, mate, we've had to get you on the phone. The people are worried that you're avoiding the podcast. You've become a ghost. But I just thought we need to call you halfway through the podcast because there's been some massive rule changes in the AFL.
So, well, there's an extra man on the bench, as far as I'm aware.
Yep.
So they get a sub, so there's five on there.
Yep.
They've adjusted the stand rule, which no one really understands the stand rule anyway.
What's a stand rule?
Like when the man on the mark's got to stand still. Let's speed the game up and get more goals, but it's just confusing because they give away free kicks, 50-metre penalties, and no one really knows what they're meant to be doing or what they're allowed to do. And the umpires don't even know how to umpire it.
So the new bench player's a new one.
That's new this year.
So how's this new rule going to affect you at Rezzies, mate?
Now, see, country footy, we sort of just do what we want, especially in the cold league.
How has pre-season been, mate? The defending champions in ones, and that just obviously leads down to success in second grade.
Oh, it's been full on. We've been training since November, twice a week, couple hours a night, plenty of legs.
Yeah.
We're looking all right. Numbers have been pretty good on the track. So,
Are you going to hold your position?
I think I'll hold my position for now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm certainly not as fit as what I was last year. I don't know whether it's because I'm approaching 32, like my calves and getting strings are getting pretty sore.
Welcome to old age, Gus.
Having to stretch.
Yeah.
Yeah, glad to be here. I'll learn about how you have to stretch apparently and cool down after running, which is something I hadn't really done before. So.
Yeah, Sam doesn't have the headphones on, but he would be absolutely scathing at the fact that you're saying, one, that you're old, and two, you need to start stretching. But
Well, can I stop Sam in real quickly? Sorry.
yeah.
I think Sam tried to show off to some younger 16 and 18-year-old athletes that we coached together. And within 3 minutes, I think he did a grade 7 hamstring tear or something, was it?
Yeah, don't start cold.
Yeah.
Don't start cold. Those injuries are directly related to your date of birth.
Yeah. So, Gus, the other question I had is, what's the go with round 0? Does the round count as points, or is it just an extended trial match, or what?
No, they count as points. It's full season matches. I don't know. It's a Victorian thing. As everyone knows, I gladly live in New South Wales now, but I think they brought it out to try and compete with the NRL, because obviously the NRL always started a week before and usually get pretty good crowds. And then they decided that they'd try and have interstate games on the first round, or on opening round, or
Yep.
round 0, to try and boost like Queensland, New South Wales, South Australian viewers, well, probably particularly Queensland and New South Wales, try and pull some of that rugby market back. That's stupid. You get like four games, and then the other teams, like, they're coming in fresh in round 1. But there was actually a fairly good crowd in Sydney on Thursday night last week, I think it was. Carlton and Sydney. Sydney beat them by about...
Calm the blood.
Yeah, what was it?
Calm the
A
blood.
79-point third quarter or
It
something
was
similar.
crazy.
Yeah, 13 goals
Yeah.
in the third quarter.
Yeah.
Which
yeah.
is-
Didn't the same thing happen in
All
the
of us
Geelong
think you'll
game
score in
too?
the game.
Like, Geelong got absolutely trounced in the same sort of game.
Yeah. All I know is that the mighty Collingwood Magpies had a great win to start our season.
Oh, sorry.
You can't swear here, Gus, all right? You can't swear.
I have to rethink my opinion of you.
And we have a Collingwood membership sticker on my headphones as well. Wear it proud.
You were only playing St Kilda, though.
Yeah.
So, Gus, you said you got a few Ks in the legs. Have you guys had a few practice matches, or what do you call them, pracky matches?
Oh, a pracky. Yeah. There's one this Saturday,
Yep.
which I'm conveniently unavailable for selection.
What's your thoughts? You said you're getting closer to 32, mate. Do you still get pumped up for them?
No, absolutely not. I've devoted 15 weeks of my winter to playing football. I don't need another 2 at the start of the season. My whole day is taken up by playing football and then being sore the next day.
Have Aussie rules got the same? Like in rugby, there's a lot of people who, especially that 32, 33 age group plus, who won't train until the first frost. Has AFL got a very similar squad mentality?
Yeah, generally.
Yeah, so it should be.
When a club's up and about, when a club's up and about, you get more numbers on the track. But
Yeah.
historically, round one, it usually drags a lot of people out.
Any final thoughts, Gus, before we let you go? We know you're driving, but thank you for joining us on our return episode.
Just go the Mighty Dockers this week against the Cats.
Good. Well, hopefully we can actually get you in a studio wherever you are located so we can get some good sound quality. But Gus, a pleasure to have you on the podcast, mate, and we'll look forward to more insights as the season progresses.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks, mate. Beals, I don't know how much of that you heard, but Gus's docile tones would be great if he wasn't in Bluetooth.
Yeah. But I'm just glad there's a fellow AFL lover on the podcast, and I think he said he's a Fremantle
I'm an
fan.
AFL lover.
Oh,
Yeah,
good man.
absolutely. On the
So much
Swannies.
I did not know about you, and I don't
That's
know,
what the
just-
pod. That's
There's
what
a
the
lot
pod's
more to
for.
find out.
I think I just fall more in love with you every day. It's weird.
I'll go on you.
Oh golly gosh, the bromances have started.
It is.
And please bring us back. We've got Super Netball starting. Also, and a question without notice: how did your AFL wheelchair go?
So they alternate between wheelchair basketball and wheelchair AFL, which is great. During the practice, warm-ups I was getting a few baskets in and whatnot, but the more the game went on, the more my arms were getting bloody sore from pushing the wheelchair, the more air balls that were definitely happening. I was buggered, not going to lie. And my shoulders, and I didn't realise how much my neck helps with my pushing of the wheelchair. Wheelchair AFL, though, is super interesting. It's kind of like a mix between netball and AFL in wheelchairs. So you handball a lot. You've got only certain positions that are allowed to handball to get a goal kind of situation. And then you're only allowed in certain areas, that netball kind of style. Have been going. I'm hoping I'm getting stronger. Not too sure, but we're giving that a go. Yeah.
After the first one, were you just exhausted?
I just couldn't get over how sore my neck was.
Yeah,
I just did not realise how much my neck was doing, and it's funny because it's bad as it sounds, but I teach people how to use wheelchairs. But when I was actually in it myself, I was like, no wonder we do neck stretches when we teach people how to use a wheelchair. So I totally understand that now.
I guess that's part of how the upper body is used using the wheelchair. You don't realise how much core action is required to be able to be effective in moving upper body strength.
Yeah, and there was 2 people that were actual wheelchair users, which were great to be a part of as well. So they actually showed us if we do get knocked out of the wheelchair, how to actually get back in, because you're seat belted in kind of situations. That was, really interesting how they do all that. But more excitingly, netball news. So Super Netball is back this weekend, which is very exciting. But a bit of controversy in the Netball New Zealand space again. So the New Zealand chair and 3 board members have gone, following a bit of turmoil with the exit of the CEO in December of last year. The disputes around the coach. So Dame Nolene, who's the Netball New Zealand coach, was pulled for 45 days for, quote, psychological safety after a training camp in January 2025. So she's got very high expectations. She expects all players to get a 16.5 on the beep test or the yo-yo test, depending on what you want to call it. So players have been stood down because they haven't been, quote, fit enough and not meeting the fitness criteria, which I think is personally a great thing. She's setting these expectations. If you don't meet it, that's tough tits.
Yeah, I suppose as long as they're achievable expectations, but 16, I suppose if you're an elite athlete though, that's where you need to be at.
But I guess the biggest thing there is how many people are failing. If you have 90% failing, is the bar too high?
She's had these expectations from the get-go.
Yeah.
3 players missed out of a squad of 20-odd. So
Oh, that's fair enough then. Yeah, that's
I
fair
think
expectations.
I think it's fair.
Yeah.
And then in regards to the Suncorp Super Netball, so they've changed the scoring this year, which is interesting, or the scoreboard, I should say. So it more reflects the AFL side of things. So you've got a score for the super shots, you've got a score for normal regular shots, and then you've also got a board that tells you how many timeouts are left. So I'm not sure if they're following the AFL kind of brand with that.
I'm keen to see Suncorp Super Netball start again. My girlfriend is a huge netball fan, so I'm following the netball. Huge fan of Kate Maloney and the Mavs. Oh, sorry, not Mavs, Vixens. She's a Vixens player. They're a cracker of a setup down there.
We'll bring your girlfriend along to the next pod then, I reckon.
Yeah, totally. Holly would love to be part of it. She'd be pumped to talk netball. But that fairy tale for the grand final win for the Vixens was a cracker. Like, they just dug in. Do you know what I mean? Be interesting to see whether they can double down. Their aim is to go back-to-back, obviously, this year, but let's see what they can bring.
What's the super shot? I've watched bits of netball, and that's the only thing that gets confusing. Is it like a 3-point shot in basketball, or how does it fit?
It's the last 5 minutes of each quarter.
Yep.
Yeah. If you shoot in a certain ring that's out like closer to the edge of the circle, it's 2 points.
And is that having an influence on games?
Oh, most definitely. So you've got teams that have got both shooters that can shoot the super shot, and they might be down by 10 at three-quarter time that come back and win it because they can shoot those shots.
You spoke about the New Zealand CEO and all that changes. Last time you came on, you were talking about New Zealand having those issues where they weren't allowing players to come to Australia. They've released that now. Is this an attempt for New Zealand to get their netball standards up again? Is it a big shake-up in there, or what's your opinion on what's going on?
It's a huge shake-up. I think this psychological safety thing, I think their coach just didn't understand and didn't get clear information as to what was being accusated.
Accusated, that'll do.
We'll cut that bit out. So I think the shake-up is definitely needed, but I think to lose 4 or 5 people since December is huge, and you've got people acting in roles who they still haven't filled the position. So I think it's a huge shake-up, and I'm interested to see. So we've got the Commonwealth Games in this year, so I'll be interested to see how New Zealand performs in that.
You mentioned before we left on the last episode that you were going to a game of Super Netball in Wagga. Did you manage to get across to that game?
I surely did, and my goodness. So if anyone who's been to whatever the stadium was, I was in like touching distance to a 2-meter goal shooter and got a photo with the Queensland Firebirds coach. Like, it was a really incredible experience. It was one of the bloody hottest days out, and the stadium did not have much air. But it was just good for fans. It was a good practice match. They used some of their training partners and used some of the Kiwis that have come over. So I think it was really great. I don't think it shows too much, though. Don't think you can read too much into these trial matches to see who's going to come out on top in the real games. But I think it was good for both Wagga and netball.
I think it's great, and probably Sam can touch on this a bit too, but having those elite players that kids can look up to. Like, obviously you're a fan too, Emma, but when you can actually see guys and get that close to them, must be a great experience for sports fans and especially young girls that are keen. Yeah.
It totally shifts a mindset for a young athlete to see their idols, or maybe not even someone that they idolise, but someone that they can identify with, who can show them that the pathway is achievable for them. They can give them guidance, and then that young athlete or aspiring athlete, whatever, can see someone that they're really interested in, or they can see someone they identify with achieving the goals that they're trying to set for themselves or figure out for themselves is just, it's life-changing.
You've also got the Wagga local, Sophie Fawns, who has made the Suncorp Super Netball. She has gone over to England for some playing time this year, but she'll be back in Suncorp Super Netball, and she's a Wagga local who went through the pathway, so it's definitely around.
My girlfriend regularly tells me that she coached Sophie when she was in Wagga, so it killed me if I didn't drop that in there tonight.
She sounds very much like Uncle Bill, who claims to this day that he taught Marty Roebuck how to play cricket, the former Australian fullback. So, you got to take that.
He taught a former Wallaby how to play cricket.
Yeah, at high school. Yeah, yeah. Trust me, yeah, and it's sometimes
He's connecting the dots with the two sports.
Yeah, he reckons that he was that good of a cricket coach it turned into rugby, but and that's the legend that is Uncle Bill. And so I suppose, and while we've still got you there on the microphone, last time we spoke was you were running and talking. A challenge that I still have, and after my trip to Europe, I'm struggling even harder with both running and talking. But have you been back?
I've joined the Strava gang, and it's a cult. I'm joining all the cults lately. My Strava shows that it's not going very well. I did hide my times for a little while because I was so embarrassed, but now I just let it all hang. Still going, still horrible, but we continue.
But are you getting lost, or have you kind of worked out the...
Oh, I know the route now. I know where I'm going. I did end up near a church, and I thought, I started getting the tingles. I knew I was in the wrong spot then. Yeah.
No, it's good to see the commitment. Lesser person would have given up by now, Em, but I'm glad you're still showing up.
I think once daylight saving is finished, we could be in trouble.
Beals, you've been quiet, but I know you've been keen to do a movie review. Now, before you get started, how many times have you looked in the mirror and done a movie review before you start?
Practice every day. I was so keen for you returning from
Well-
the holiday, Mitchell. I just been practicing all the time for these movie reviews.
In that case, Beals, it's time for this elaborate sound clip. That's right, James. That's the sound of it's time for your movie review, my friend. Does it get you pumped up? Are you ready?
Absolutely, sure.
What have you got for us, mate?
I've actually got a double feature for you just today. I've got a couple of new movies I've watched. The first one on Amazon Prime, the Wrecking Crew, it's called. It's got Dave Bautista and Jason Momoa in it. They play half brothers. They kind of are estranged. They don't really talk to each other. Their father dies in mysterious circumstances. They're forced to come back together, investigate. It's pretty good. I enjoyed it. It's very funny. It's a good action comedy movie. I'd give it 3 out of 5 stars. It's on Amazon Prime. I enjoyed that one. The second movie that I have...
Well,
is
hang on. There was a bit of a
Netflix.
giggle there when one of the actors was mentioned by Tommy before we move on, Beals.
I am a
okay, yeah.
long time WWE fan. So I love
Yeah, that's
seeing
right.
Batista or John Cena or The Rock or any of those guys in movies. And usually they're not the best movies, so I'm looking forward to watching this one.
Actually, I must admit, I think out of all of them, that Dave Bautista, he might be the most capable one of any acting. Still, it is what it is. It's an action comedy movie, so you're not expecting Shakespeare or anything. It was good. I enjoyed it.
What was the second one? What have you got for us to round out the
second
double?
one was, it's a brand new movie. It's only been on Netflix for a couple of weeks, called War Machine. It's got Alan Richardson in it. He is the guy who plays Jack Reacher in the new show as well. All filmed in Australia, by the way, which was good to see. But it's a very similar sort of movie to the original Predator. So they're kind of an elite crew training in the forest. They come across a entity machine, starts taking them out. They're forced to survive. So I really enjoyed it. I give it 3.5 out of 5. Being Netflix, they're definitely trying to set up a sequel. So
Yes.
I'm expecting a return to that franchise anytime, I suppose. But being Netflix, they'll definitely make a sequel to that one, that's for sure.
I'm just disappointed. I went in to do the Predator handshake and Tommy just looked at me with blank faces.
I've never seen it.
Oh, okay. Tommy's
Oh
got some
my
homework.
God.
Yeah, I know.
But-
he left me hanging.
What I did see was, now you see me, now you don't.
Oh,
5 out of 5 stars. My God, it was good. I watched it last week, and the whole time I was going, God, I could never trust one of Bealeys' movie reviews ever again. I laughed,
You
I
must have been
cried,
the
I
only
watched it
person
twice.
that
Oh,
enjoyed it.
it was great.
what was that, James?
I said, Tommy must have been the only person that enjoyed it.
Oh,
Nobody else did.
I did wait till it became $6 on TV though. I would have paid 24 for it. But oh my God, I loved it.
I feel
Oh,
like the $6 that quickly is like the equivalent of going straight from the movie to a DVD really quickly.
yes, yeah.
Yeah, or VCR, sorry.
Straight to
for
VCR.
Sam. So you've got a few more lined up for the rest of the year, mate. We'll be on in 2 weeks' time. Is that enough time for you to do another couple of reviews?
I'm sure I can find something to watch. Probably ones I've seen before, but I'll get there. It'll be a struggle, but I'll manage.
Beals, and that's why you have your own movie intro reviews. Now, moving back on to Tommy. Now, you said at the start of the show you had a lot of things to discuss, mate. Just take it away.
Well, we've covered most of them, and I can't read half my writing on the rest. And we're not going to get political or anything, so let's just scrap that bit.
One thing we were looking at is, but Alex Johnston.
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 Geez, we're really good for a sports podcast.
Alex J.
AJ.
AJ.
Alex Johnston from the Rabbitohs is about 2 or 3 tries away from the record all-time try scorer in the NRL. And the discussion's been around, should they allow the crowd to enter the field like they did for Buddy Franklin when he kicked his 1,000th goal. Well, I think that was record-breaking too. So a lot of people are 50-50 about that. I thought I'd bring it into the elite panel that we have here. But Beals, you've got a local NRL game in Bathurst coming up. If that happened, would you race onto the field? Do you think it's a good thing to do or celebrate or not?
No, I think it's terrible. I don't like it at all.
What, celebrating or
Having fun.
Sure, you could celebrate, but why you got to run on the field and ruin it for everyone else?
Good point.
I'd be
might
more
be fun
worried
for
about
the
trying to
people
find
that
your
do
seat
it.
again.
What's that? Sorry, Anne?
I'd be more worried about trying to find my seat again.
Oh, don't worry. It's rugby league, so there's only going to be like 7,000 people there. I feel it was a bit different when it was 60,000, but NRL,
Well,
I think everyone has
the stadium at Bathurst only fits about 5,000, so I think they'll be right.
Yeah, well, I
It'll
don't
be
think
the
they're
first
playing-
sellout for the year. That'd be awesome.
I think they're playing in Sydney somewhere for the game, but I don't know, Sam. What's your thoughts? It's an old tradition, obviously, that like even before probably both our times, running onto the field was more common.
I reckon let them get into it. I reckon get the fans out there, let them all do whatever they want to do. I just think the flip side of that is in the current sporting market, like what happens to the pitch, what are the sponsors doing? There's just so many issues hanging on the back of that weren't there all those years ago when streakers and that sort of stuff were way more common. In some instances, there weren't even like fences behind the dead ball. Do you mean it was only along a sideline? So I just think, look, the world is a different place now. I'd love to see it happen and love to see it for all the positive sort of energy around that. But I just think the sponsors and the NRL itself probably won't let it happen.
Well, I know with Buddies, when they all came onto the field, and obviously there was a lot there for that, getting them back off the field was their challenge. Like there's those scenes where the
1,000,000%. And all the beer cans and whatever else that goes with it. That's the hardest part. And people trying to dig up a bit of the pitch and some grass and whatever else.
And the fact that two of the Swan players left the stadium.
Yeah,
there's a footage
around
of them
and-
leave the stadium, coming back in, the members.
Yeah,
It's chaos.
fully dressed. So yeah, and fair point too. That was a lot of the guys on the negative side on saying don't run to the same. It was saying the pitch is struggling to hold up as it is now with the conditions that Sydney have had, putting 10, 15,000 people all over it, and like you said, trying to rip out their own piece of turf. But then how do you celebrate it? Do you think you do a thing after the game or training? I don't know.
But how often does it happen too? Like who was the last person who held the
It
record?
was 60 years ago.
Like, it is something that should be celebrated. It's a one-off thing. No one's probably close to AJ chasing the tries down. Like, so just do it. Celebrate it.
Yeah.
It's half an hour. Just do it. Go nuts. Steal the goalpost.
It's funny talking to a few or listening to a few other people. The guys are saying now with the rule changes in NRL, and I haven't really watched a game yet, I'm not all over it. They're saying that it's such an attack-focused sport. Like there's more 6 agains instead of penalties now. They're changing that. These kind of records of all-time try scorers are probably going to fall more regularly because there is that such a focus on attack. It's so hard to defend in the modern game, and I think probably one for another episode to talk about because the momentum shifts that we're starting to see and some of the massive scores we're seeing in NRL even compared to last year. And I know it's only round 1. We're going into round 2 tonight or when we're recording this, but I think changing the rules for the sake of changing the rules and changing that and changing the momentum away from attack or from defense and 50-50 when you sway it either way changes the product. And I worry that celebrating these things is very important, but if the game changes so much that there's 10 or 20 people in the next 5 or 6 years, it becomes less important too.
And that's the thing. It will wear off over time, but for the moment, it's still an awesome achievement to celebrate.
Let them on the pitch.
Yeah, I agree.
Sam's just
I
just
agree.
straight
But
up.
also it depends. Like, if he scores in the first 30 seconds of the game, like, it gets delayed again for the next.
Yeah.
And how do the TV rights and that
all,
go?
all the
and,
stadiums are set up as nightclubs now anyway. Just put some tunes on. Like,
just call the game
turn
a
it into a
drawing.
beer garden.
if I ever do a Spiels, that will be my one, is the sport, the music and sporting arenas. I dig. Gosh, do I hate it.
What do you think, Am? Would you storm the field like if what is it, a netball achievement all time?
Well, I'm bringing back netball into this, but we just had Liz Watson celebrate her 100th game, which is there's only been 6 people ever to celebrate that, and they gave her the flowers and whatnot. But just going back to the footy, player safety, all that kind of thing comes into it as well. And if he's likely he could break this record in the next 2 rounds, kind of thing, you're ruining a ground on round 4. There's a lot of rounds left to go. I think player safety comes into it, and I reckon they'll say no.
they're talking of fines of $5,000.
But that's the thing. Are they going to fine, say they get 20,000 people, or are they going to fine 20,000 people $5,000 each?
No idea.
No is the answer there.
Would 20,000 people run on
Like-
if they've been told no, though?
100%.
Yeah?
I reckon 100% they will. They will not fine them all.
Is it Jerry Harvey owns Harvey Norman?
Yeah.
Just let him sponsor it. Like, just put your logo, like give everyone a T-shirt and away. Happy days.
Yeah.
There's 100,000 donation. Thank you.
Yeah.
See you later.
Now, Tommy, you've been doing a lot of talking tonight. We love that. I mean, it's a podcast. If you sat here silent, it'd really give you the
It'd
shits.
probably be a horrible podcast.
Well, depends who you're listening to. Some people would argue it would be better. But
It would.
I've heard on the grapevine that you've been actually doing a lot of listening as well.
Yes.
And you've had a bit of obsession. Do you want to
You've been
let
talking
the
to
listener-
Jess.
Yeah.
Oh,
I've been talking to your beautiful wife that she's lost you to an audiobook obsession. So we thought this is a safe place to let us know about it, Tommy.
it is. So, I am a nerd for Harry Potter. Love it. I read the books when I was young, forgot what the books were about, and then watched the movies. And I watched the whole 7 or 8 movies because the 7's second 2 parts. Probably once every 3 months. Love it. Going back and started listening to the podcast, the audiobook again, and I forgot how much they changed and ruined it. So here I am being in my bubble, like, God, I just love the movies, rah, rah, rah. Now going back to the audiobooks, like, that didn't happen, this didn't happen. Like, it just made me despise the movies, and I don't know if I'm just heartbroken on what it is, because it's ruined for me. I don't think I can watch the movies ever again now.
They always say that the books are better than the
Yeah.
movie, but I find with audiobooks, you can get a really good book, and if the person reading it gives you the shits, it's such a
Oh,
punish.
100%. I listened to the first one, which was Stephen Fry, which is cool. But, yeah, it wasn't into it. But this Harry Potter one is where it is a whole cast live. Every character has their own voice and the background noise, and it's really well done.
What's the saying? Don't ever meet your heroes. You have an idea in your mind, which is the whole point of a book, right? Is that you can read something and imagine something, and Jemina can take you to a place that then when they try and make a movie of it, the movie's never going to achieve what your imagination can do. And that's, I guess, the same sort of thing. Don't ever meet your heroes because
They're all jerks.
Yeah, that's the theory anyway.
Yeah.
You'll be disappointed.
Yeah.
Or it's easy to be disappointed.
I love audiobooks. I hate reading. I can't sit still and read. I just cannot do it. But I love listening to books. I listen to books all the time.
What's your favourite genre, Tommy?
Usually sport audiobiographies, like
Yep.
coaching ones, like Rami. What's the South African coach? Rasmus.
Razzie.
He's amazing.
Do you know what I struggle with autobiographies though? The I statements. I did this, I did that. I enjoy hearing what someone's story was or reading about what someone's story was or how they got to where they got to. And autobiographies are obviously a great way of doing that. But I don't know. There's only so many of those I can handle. I feel like I've read this book before.
A lot of people
It's
have the
just a
same
different
story.
character.
Yeah. But that's one of my favourite comparison always is Dan Carter to Richie McCaw, who are two great All Blacks, where Dan Carter was like the first 15 captain. He was the head prefect. He was just a gifted guy, quite arrogant. I was like, I didn't do this. Probably the best 5'8" of New Zealand's in a lifetime. Yeah. And then Richie McCaw, who's the best flanker they've probably ever had. He was like 4th grade at school. He had to work hard. He did all the extras. He had a whole different lifestyle. And they're two of the best players he's ever had, but two different paths to
Probably
get
fed
there.
off each other too, right? Like when two individuals like that get in the same sort of environment, they end up feeding off each other and being motivated by each other because they're seeing someone else achieve and going, well, hang on, like, if I want to get better, I've got this guy looking over my shoulder. It might be a different position, but you can see the effort that they're putting.
And that's something we probably see too in the SSA is people from different walks of life, different skill talents, bounce off each other so well because it's a whole different thing for them. Yeah.
100%.
Very good.
I think you just had a missed call from one of your dear friends, was it, Mitchell?
I did. And he's jealous he's not on the podcast tonight. Unfortunately, he's employed at a pub, a venue, and can't join us. But he has lots of stories to tell about his repair work. And we're talking
Surely
about...
there's a sponsorship opportunity here. Like,
Mate, I don't want to give the stories away because he has disclosed them to me, but I don't know what kind of sponsor he'll be after. I really don't know who will sponsor him, but he has some cracking yarns, and we're referring to, obviously, Callum. our man who let us know.
I just want
what
a
he's
free
fixed.
chicken schnitzel.
Speaking of Europe,
It wasn't actually cold over there.
so every photo I've seen of you, you were stiff as a board, PC looking gorgeous and just like doing poses, and you're like just freezing, going, "Yep, I'm having a great time, but
It
I'm
was
not
the
going to
jeans
smile."
and jogs that got me.
It was.
Oh, look.
But take us away. Where have you been for the last 6 weeks?
We flew into Copenhagen in Denmark and then went on a bit of a journey through to London, Amsterdam on the way through, and then Scotland, and then flew from Scotland to Ireland in Dublin, hired a little car and did like the southern part of Ireland, not Northern Ireland. We stayed below the line and had an absolute ball. But I will say it was a weird thing to pack for. And you do mention the jeans and joggers, but when you're in Australia and we had that heat wave, we were in about that 40 odd degrees, we landed in Copenhagen with a wind chill factor of minus 18. So
Holy smokes.
yeah. So I got to the stage where I was like, I don't care what I wear, it's got to be warm.
And at what point does it it's just cold? Like, is -5 the same as -15?
Well, it's different. It's really dry. Like the -15 was quite dry air. I don't know. It's so hard to explain because when you go there, it's like a massive shock to the system. Like it is absolutely bitter cold. Like any bit of skin that you have exposed to the
I'm happy
elements
not
of-
to experience it, thanks. I'm really happy not to experience
Yeah, that's all you. Buddy.
Yeah. At least I will say the sun was out a little bit in that condition. So when we went to like England and Ireland and through Scotland where it was just dark, gloomy rain the whole day and you just got wet. Like you go outside to go and we went to the Edinburgh Castle and got absolutely drenched the whole, like you just, I'd rather the -15 because
I'll
yeah.
take cold over wet.
yeah,
Yeah, 100%.
you can
yeah.
rug up all you like and get heaps of layers on, but when you get wet, I probably could have packed a pair of waterproof pants, but geez, that would have been a hell of a look. But I will say it
You
was.
are a fashionista.
I feel like I'm going for the dad bod too early. Like the jeans and joggers, I just kind of lent into it. I was like, you know what? I'm on holidays. Holiday Mitch has arrived.
Mate, the cool kids now wear jeans and joggers, so I think you're hip.
Yeah,
You're with it.
I don't think
You say
that's
6'7" and stuff.
never heard of
You
it.
just say hip.
I think that says enough.
That's what the cool kids say, isn't it?
Tommy's got one line that's of the
Slay.
cool. Oh gosh, you can tell we're getting close to the hour
Yeah,
mark.
right. So
but
what was your highlight for the trip?
I loved driving around Ireland.
Yeah.
But because it's out of the tourist time, it's in their winter period, they weren't packed, they weren't full of people. So it gave us a chance to look at all the sites without having thousands of people around.
Very similar to like the Neville Blaney area.
Look, the roads are slightly wider in Australia than over there, and the speed limits are slower in Australia than over there. We found that if there's a tight, windy road near like a town, like a small town, 80 Ks.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. If it's 50 Ks, there has to be a school nearby. And anywhere else is just 100. Driving around when you can do your own, like with getting away from the big capital cities was great. I really enjoyed that part of it too. When you're on trains and doing, and it was great to see all the sites and ticking all those boxes off for that, because you've got to experience all of them. But I loved getting out into the country, and it's very similar. Obviously, we a lot of heritage of Irish heritage in Australia, and yeah, cool to see it over there.
Did you nerd out on the farm life, being an agronomist?
I definitely went through an area called County Cork, where the massive, biggest area, and had a great time.
Yeah.
Pete had no idea what I was talking about when I threw terms like silage and grass and fine chop pits.
What is
and,
silage and grass, Sam?
It's where marshmallows come from, isn't it?
Yeah.
And what was your worst? You and Pete just went, you know what? Why did we do this? Was there? Or was the whole thing just
I
an
think
adventure?
we went some of the bigger capital cities where there's obviously a lot more crime, and it's so different over there too. Like it's just a very different environment. And I think it's because you're in a different environment and different language speaking places, but there's just some of those capital cities you just didn't feel safe going through the train system. There was just like, you're looking around going, I don't know what you're saying. I don't know.
Did you manage to keep your wallet? No pickpockets got you?
Nah, very, very safe on the wallet front, which helped with 19 layers of jackets, because I just put it on one of the layers of jackets, and if they got to that, I was in bigger
I
trouble.
picture Mitch as one of like the bum bags, but around his chest, he's going to duck in 17 layers and pulls his passport out and just really hip.
He's not denying that one.
No, he's not.
Let's just move on.
Cash in every country, like you paid cash in all the currency.
We had bits of cash, but we got a travel card. I got a travel account. And basically what that meant was that we could change the currency as we went to whichever country we were in, because a lot of places now it's just easier to pay on the card, like on your phone. And I think that was a big thing why we didn't get pickpocketed, was because you tap and go on your phone everywhere. You're not getting your wallet out. Like you just hang on to that phone. You don't have cash. Like all the train tickets were basically tap on or off, or you could tap and buy a day pass or something like that. So
Yeah, nice.
yeah, cash is slowly fading. We still did get some currency from each area, but when you're switching between euros and then because we were in Copenhagen, went across to Sweden, which is like half an hour train ride across, it's a different currency again. It was just easier to have that card where we could switch currencies.
I'm going to ask about food and beer.
Yes.
Right. I want to know all about it.
The funny part about it, I was saying to Pete, everywhere we went, there was always about 4 or 5 Irish pubs. And I resisted the whole time. Like we were in Netherlands.
I would not have resisted.
Because I was like, we're spending a week in Ireland. Like normally 100% I would agree with you, but I was like, we're in Europe. Like I've got to try and like do the cultural thing.
Were there Irish pubs in Ireland or they're just pubs? that is always a thing.
Exactly.
Like when you go to a restaurant and you go for French go for French food.
Yeah.
In France, is it just a restaurant?
Real confusing.
Potato farms.
We went to some of the smaller towns and they've still got a lot of history tied up with their pubs. And a lot of them have got dual bars. So one side of the pub will be a workstation or a shop and the other side is where you drink. So they switch over at nighttime and daytime. So like a few places work. We went to one place which was like a general store, like a hardware store on one side. And then so you could sit up and they got all the stuff still on the walls, like they're still kind of half operated. And then the other side is literally a full-fledged bar. And you got all your outdoor area. And then another spot we went to was a leather guy who does like makes leather and belts and all those things on one side of the bar. And
Was it the same staff for both?
no, different
Like
pubs, so.
he said it's the same bar.
Oh, no,
Like,
no,
just fixing
no.
a belt and goes, 3 rashes, mate. There you go.
No, it's very separate because there's like an older fellow that did all the leather. Is it called a Leatherman?
That's a knife.
Yeah, it is. I don't know.
What's a Leatherman called?
A bloke who
That's a tool, mate.
You're the researcher. Yeah. It's just little things like that it's part of their culture. That's my big thing going over there was I tried to do as much of the local stuff as we could. Like obviously in Ireland, I drank 14 times my body weight in Guinness.
I just want to know how many G's did you split?
Oh, enough. Yeah, especially when
What do you mean
I found
enough? Come on.
splitting the G is a commitment. If you just want to sip on a nice Guinness in freezing cold conditions, you just want to enjoy it.
I've never had a Guinness.
Like this, but I did split enough to know that I was confident in doing it.
I'm a fan of the Kilkenny. Over
Yeah,
Guinness.
yeah. But they don't know Kilkenny. I think Kilkenny is like Foster's because they asked them. I was like, "Oh, do you guys have any Kilkenny?" And they're like, "The town." Like,
Yeah,
when-
exactly.
Who's Kenny? How did he
yeah,
die?
literally, it felt like those out of towners coming and go, "I want a Foster's," and you're like, "Who drinks Foster's?" Yeah. I was genuinely surprised, Sam, because we've got a few cans in the studio shed where I've enjoyed a Kilkenny, and they're like, "Nah, it's just a town." But we got some really nice sunny days, which was unusual. There was a streak, I think, in London when we were there. It was like 88 days of rain, so it was.
Sounds like this summer.
Yeah, so you can see why they're a bit angry when they get onto the footy fields. Any final thoughts, Beals? We've cracked the hour mark, mate. What have you got for us?
Just want to know from your travels, Mitchell, anywhere you'd go back to and want to explore further, or you're done with that.
There's one that surprised me was Amsterdam. It's very touristy and everyone giggles when they say it, but it's actually a lot of fun. Like Pete and I went there and had an absolute ball. Everyone's there for a good time. It's very touristy, but the pubs were really great. There's a lot of food venues. It felt very clean and safe of all the places that we went to be at late at night. We were in bed by like midnight, but I really enjoyed that place. And also Scotland. I'd love to see a bit more of that. Ireland was unreal and I'd always go back there, but I'd love to explore probably fly into Amsterdam and then fly out of Edinburgh somehow.
How long did it take you to realise that Copenhagen is in Europe and not in Canada?
Yeah, let's move on. Thanks, Sam. Tommy, any final thoughts, mate?
Is that legit?
Yeah. Let's go back on that. Let's go back.
Look, it was just early days when Pete said we'll go to Copenhagen. I was like, I thought we were going to Europe, not Canada.
Like early days before you went to school, or
Yeah. I skipped geography.
mate, you're a fine Stennies man. We know better than that.
Yeah, we do, but I got Australia covered.
It's like thinking England's in Europe or something.
Yeah. Don't mention the war. So,
Fuel prices, my God.
no, let's move on. Sam, that's enough. Sam, it's a pleasure to have you back in the studio, mate. I look forward to a few more episodes and a few more in-depth rugby chats as we go.
Pumped to be here, mate. Thanks for having me back.
And Emma, it's always a privilege.
You're welcome.
Tommy, final thoughts, mate?
Final thoughts and also a bit of news going forward. We being rugby season, we will be touching on a lot more rugby stuff locally and abroad. So yeah, I think there's a few interviews in the pipeline between a few Seru people and a few Central West people, just to get more of an idea on the local rugby happenings and a bit of a different twist on it. So
Yeah, 100%. Keen to get out to see some local sport this year and obviously interview some key individuals. And on that too, anyone who's listening or wants to be a part of the show, please send us an email, aussiebackyardbanter@gmail.com. Like Tommy's great mate and Bealey's mentor, BJ Head. And also, if you've got any suggestions of people we should interview in the local Wagga or any local regions really that you think would have some cool stories to spin in the backyard as part of the Banter series. That's it from me. It's a pleasure to host this podcast again, and we look forward to future episodes. Thanks, team. That'll do from all of us here.
thank you. Goodbye.
Nope.